Hi, my name is Andrea. In this episode I will show you how I made this step stool with dovetail joint, mortise and tenon joint, and finally the inlay with purple heart. I used spruce and decided on traditional joinery without need to use clamps or screws. This tool can be made using hand tools only, but because there was a time limit, I used a combination of hand and power tool. If you want to see the process of laying out, cutting and fitting of the dovetail joints, there is a link at the end of the video explaining how I make my dovetails. I'm fairly new at making dovetails, but I try to make them the best I can. You'll see gaps and some errors I made, but please bear in mind that this is my third dovetail project and the first one in 1 inch thick material. I first make tails and then pins. I used a piece of purple heart to make the inlay. The piece was too thick, so I needed to cut a thin slice. In purple heart, that was more difficult than I have imagined, so I used table saw. Then I planed it and glued on the design I wanted to cut. This was my first attempt on making the inlay, and while it was not difficult, it is time consuming. When the design was cut, I traced the shape on board and started chopping. I used only hand tools for this. Well, most of the time. The glue was put in the recess and I smacked it into place. It went quite smooth. Then I planed it flush and sanded it. Then I moved on to making the tenon and mortise joint to make this tool rock solid. I made the tenons on the table saw and cleaned them with the router plane. The mortises were made with the drill, router and chisels. I cut thin wedges out of purple heart and glue them in tenons. With a bit of persuasion, the dovetails set nicely. I cut flush the tenons, planed and sanded everything. I applied 2 coats of linseed oil, 2 coats of marine varnish and a coat of beeswax. And it was done. I'm very happy with the result of joinery and inlay that came out pretty well. The only thing I would change is to use maple or white oak instead of spruce. Thanks for watching to the end. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the circle on the screen. If you'd like to see how I made my dovetails, click on the square window. And if you want to support me, you can do it on Patreon. Thank you and see you soon!